What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. My name is Dimitri. This is SUPERDIM, and finally we got a new episode of Cars and Cars. But I think first of all, let's get Greta all washed up. She's a little bit dirty, a little bit dusty. We haven't gotten much rain out here, and I mean, even if we did, I park indoors anyway. So I gotta clean her up, and we'll be on our way. I'm actually on my way to Mississauga today for some work. But before we head out, I got a little bit of time on my hands, so let's wash her up and begin this video. Let's hit it! Try filming this with the top down. I want to see how much noise I get with the top down when I'm recording, because if I can record with the top down in such beautiful weather like today, I'm gonna do it all the time. Alright, I'm here in line to get the car washed. All of the bays are up. One is clearing up, so I'm just gonna take this bay here and let's get her all washed up. All right. And there we have it. Just give her a little rinse. Nothing too major. She was just dusty, not really that dirty. Alright, let's pull her out then. Alright, we are on our way to Mississauga. So, I want to talk about the Mission E today, which is Porsche's so far concept car of their electric vehicle, all electric. And I saw it at the Canadian International Auto Show in Toronto back in, I can't remember when it was now. My first video that I posted was March, so it must have been end of February time. I'd have to check to make sure. Anyway, it's not the point. The point is, they didn't have the actual full concept car. They just had the little model of it, and then they unveiled the full car later on in the New York Auto Show, and then I think it was in China, Hong Kong maybe. Again, my memory's not clear on it. Here's the thing, I'm not super excited about electric vehicles because they're still kind of in that infancy stage. Yes, Tesla set a standard, a new standard for electric vehicles. They're no longer basically golf carts with car bodies. Like, these are serious vehicles with serious performance numbers. In fact, the Mission E is touted to have 590 horsepower, which is crazy, even for a non-electric, for an internal combustion engine vehicle, but let alone an electric one. It's also touted to have 500 kilometers of range. That's about 230 miles, which is serious mileage on one charge. Now, they also have their version of the supercharger, whatever Tesla has, which they say can get the battery up to 80% charged just on a single 15-minute charge. So in 15 minutes, you're getting 400 kilometers of range. honestly, that's about the amount of time I spend at the gas station if I'm on a road trip somewhere that requires me to travel more than 300, 400 kilometers or so. Like the one my wife and my brother took just last week to New Jersey. New Jersey from us is about 800 kilometers south. So we stopped twice to gas up, and each time we gassed up, it took about 15-20 minutes while we go to the bathroom and get some snacks and while the car's being pumped. So it's not uncommon to spend that amount of time at a gas station now with a gasoline vehicle. So I mean, that's actually really good news. The only problem is that this technology is really expensive. So I don't know what the price point of the Mission E will be, but it's not going to be competing with the Tesla Model 3, for example, which is kind of like an entry-level Tesla. So the Mission E, I wouldn't be surprised, if it starts selling at maybe 150 to 180 Canadian, which maybe, I don't know what that is, 130 maybe American. The people that will be beta testing this car and really putting it through the ringer are people with the means to do so. And I'm not sure that those are the people that you want to test a car on, because if I had enough money to afford to buy a first-gen brand new Mission E, I'd want it to work perfectly. I'm sure that whatever breaks on it, Porsche will fix for free. It'll be under warranty. That's all great. I'm just worried that there will be something catastrophic about it, especially with the charging mechanism. Well, I got a giant truck behind me and it's really loud. Anyway, so this charging technology better be on point, because if it takes not 15 but 30, 40 minutes to reach that 80%, that's gonna set the car back a lot. And that's something that Porsche would have to really work really hard to recover from in their future electric vehicles. And it could be difficult for them. It could be difficult for any car manufacturer. But what was interesting is they took it out on the track. They had a professional driver take her out and see how she handles. And of course, they tout the legendary Porsche handling and the limited body roll and all that. But I noticed something interesting. The Mission E that they were test driving around the track had what looked like tailpipes. And I saw that in their Instagram post when they posted about this track day with the Mission E. And I thought to myself, I was under the impression that this was going to be a fully electric vehicle. I didn't think that Porsche was going to release this as kind of like a Chevy Volt, where it's a hybrid, the first 120 kilometers being electric, and then after that switching over to gasoline. Or actually, this is an interesting story. So I had a coworker at my last job who had a Volt, and I was interested in it. This was at the time where they just came out with it. He got the first gen, brand new. He was really happy with it. But in the winter time, because it got so cold, especially in Canada, the electric motor just wasn't enough to power the car well enough. So in the winter, it was basically constantly a gasoline car. And I don't know what engine it has in it. If I were to guess, it's probably a 4-cylinder naturally aspirated, maybe a 2-liter or something. Not a heavy-duty engine by any stretch of the imagination. But the electric motor would, I guess, would kind of assist with the horsepower. In any case, so I saw these tailpipes and I looked in the comments, because I'm sure people commented about that, because how do you miss that? And knowing that it's an electric vehicle. So apparently they just taped on these 3D looking stickers that look like tailpipes. I have no idea why they did this. Maybe to fool the public, or maybe to stir up controversy. I mean, I'm talking about it. I'm sure others will too. But it's just something that caught my eye. And was it a smart thing of them to do, to kind of try and fool the public into thinking that maybe it has a gasoline motor? Maybe. Again, it has us talking about it. But on the other hand, the Mission E looks so different than all the other Porsches that you can really tell that it's not a standard Porsche. It's not a Panamera. It doesn't look like a Panamera. It doesn't look like a 911, that's for sure. And actually, the way it looks is, to me, it's not the best looking car. I really hope that they either change the vehicle by the time they release it. I mean, the look of it, the technology actually sounds amazing. I'm super excited about the tech that it's gonna bring, but I'm not excited about how it looks. And to me, aesthetics of a car are pretty important, especially when you're paying such a high price for it. You want to drive a beautiful car, and you want something different. You don't want, if you're buying a Porsche, you don't want to be driving what everyone else is driving. You want to be driving something unique. Actually, I'll admit, that's a big reason why I bought the Boxster, is that I don't see many Boxsters on the road, and I like to be a little different. I think we all do, in one way or another. I mean, there are people who buy, Hondas and completely change them to look like race cars, or, we make fun of them, racers, They put on these ridiculous fart can exhausts, which I personally cannot stand. But, that's to stand out, to be different. And car guys like us, we want to be different. We don't want to drive what everyone else is driving. Whether you're into Skyline GTRs, or you're into Porsches like myself, or you get a Ferrari. But, I mean, at that point, a Ferrari, that's serious money up there, right? Like, no rinky-dink car enthusiast or rancher is, unless you're Tavares, who bought, the cheapest Lamborghini on the market and fixed it up himself. You're probably not buying Lamborghinis and Ferraris. You're buying just something that you can daily drive and maybe take to the track once in a while. And, something that looks different, whether good or bad, but different. And the Mission E does look different. That's for sure. But I just don't think it looks good. And the release date for this car is sometime in 2020. Right now, it's just a concept. So I'm hoping by the time they decide to release it, they're gonna make some aesthetic changes to it, but keep all the tech and maybe add on whatever is new at the time. I mean, 2 years in the tech world is a lifetime. So I'm just hoping they improve the look of the car. But going back to those fake tailpipes, I did look in the comments. Everybody posted, well, those are fake, those are just stickers, they're just trying to fool you. And I hope it is. I hope they didn't put real tailpipes on the car. And I really hope that this electric car does not come with fake tailpipes. Fake vents, fake tailpipes. It's just one of those things that are just not necessary for any car. I just hope that they go the way of Tesla, in the sense that they're not putting in stuff just to make it look a little bit cooler. Although, you know what? Putting tailpipes on an electric car, on a fully electric car, doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make the car look cool. It doesn't make the car look different. It makes it look weird, and not in a good way. But the electric car revolution is happening, and there are companies, car companies, that are vowing to go completely electric by whatever it is, 2025 or 2030, whatever their goal date is. And I'll be honest, at the time, I think if it does happen, I'll miss the electric vehicle. not the electric V, the gasoline engine. I will, because the sound of it, the feel of it, it's what we grew up with, what my generation grew up with, what my dad's generation grew up with. It's something that's kind of in us to really love. And maybe electric cars will be that for the next generation. Whatever comes after electric will eventually replace EV cars. And maybe my kids or their kids will talk about missing those days where you had instant torque from an electric engine and you could go from 0 to 60 in sub 2 seconds or whatever. Because even the Mission E, this is the first gen Mission E, it'll be able to do 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds. That's sports car, that's supercar territory. I mean, modern supercars, they're already doing it like sub 2 seconds, but for what it is, it could be classified as a supercar, 10, 15 years ago. So that's something that I think is exciting. Knowing that you can reach 60 miles an hour in under 3.5 seconds, that's gonna make a lot of people feel really good about their car. The instant torque, the lack of shifting, is, I think, a blessing and a curse. So the blessing is that, of course, it's gonna be instantaneous speed, just from start to finish. It's gonna be constant and without interruption. But there is something to be said about those gear shifts when you're redlining it and you're shifting at high speeds, and it just feels like you're working the car. And that's something that Porsche tries to maintain with all their cars. They try to make it a driver-friendly car, so they're not putting in the fancy self-driving modes and lane assists and all that. But I'm not sure what they're going to do with the Mission E, because the Mission E is the prime candidate for that kind of tech, and I'm hoping that they keep it as a Porsche. So I'm hoping it's gonna be a driver-friendly car and not a car that decides to drive for you because it thinks that you're getting out of your lane when you want to stay in your lane or something like that. I understand it's a safety feature. I understand a lot of companies are doing it because people are people, they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna cause accidents. But I think just for someone who enjoys controlling their car, having control of their life, really, that's kind of the analogy of it, is you're in control of yourself, of your property, of things around you, and nothing is getting in your way. And a lot of these modern cars feel like they're getting in your way. I drove, for about a week and a half, I drove the Mercedes CLS 550, which is an incredible car, super comfortable. As a daily driver, I would get it in a heartbeat if I had the means to. Massage seats and just modern tech, and just everything about it felt complete and worked exactly like you'd want it to work. But it had lane assist, it had the self-driving feature, which I didn't use, but the lane assist, sometimes you gotta go around a car. If a car is making a turn and you gotta just go around it, but you don't want to get into the next lane, the car will think you're veering out of your lane and try to adjust its steering wheel, and it actually could cause a dangerous situation where you might end up hitting the car that's trying to make the turn. And I really hope Porsche keeps true to their word, true to their spirit of being a driver's car. You get into it and you're in control. And I hope they keep that going in their electric vehicles. Unlike Tesla, unlike a lot of these mainstream car manufacturers, Ford is getting into it. And I'm not surprised that they are. It's not a gimmick, I get it. It's the real deal. It's something that's gonna not only save lives, but save people time and trouble and worries. But I think if you're buying a Porsche, you're buying it for that experience. You really are. I bought this one to experience the great handling, to just rip it up on the highway, and to just enjoy myself. Every time I drive this car, it brings me so much joy. And I really hope that the next generation of electric vehicles that Porsche releases will allow you to enjoy the car to its fullest. I don't see myself switching to an electric vehicle soon. I'm sure it'll happen. It's bound to happen, especially if I want to buy a brand new vehicle one day. I'm sure that it'll be at least a hybrid. But I'm gonna enjoy what I have now as long as I can, because I'm not gonna be able to find this fun of a ride unless I buy used, I think, ever again. Just everything in this car feels so mechanical. The gear shifts are so mechanical. If I'm in a quiet place or near a wall and I push the clutch in, I can hear the clutch engaging. I can hear it all happening. And it's just such beautiful sounds that I am really gonna miss when the new generation of vehicles come along. And I would really appreciate it if you guys comment down below what you guys think. Maybe you guys are super excited about the electric car revolution. Maybe you're hoping that Ferraris and Lamborghinis become all electric and break barriers with speed records and launches of what the cars can do and what modern technology can do. I really am curious to find out what my audience thinks. Are you guys gonna miss the sound of the V12, of the V8? I know Americans are just obsessed with big block V8 engines, and I must admit they sound beautiful. It's music to my ears when I hear an LS3, hell, an LS7. They just sound just amazing. And I personally am gonna miss that. I'm also gonna honestly miss a simple interior. My phone is my GPS, my phone is my music device, I've got Bluetooth here, I just connected to my Bluetooth and I've got everything I need right off my phone. When I'm done with it, I take it with me and my car stays pristine and clean and no unneeded technology, which is what I think it all is. It's unneeded, unwanted tech. In my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people disagree with me because it is the norm now to have navigation, GPS, all that installed in your car. The backup camera, I do admit, great feature. Would have totally avoided the guy hitting the back of my car when he was backing up out of a parking spot. Luckily, I saw it happen and we were able to work it out. But the Mission E will bring a modern interior and it'll bring in all these screens everywhere and all be touch screen and hopefully a trackpad on the steering wheel so you don't have to reach over and touch stuff. I know you guys know that I hate touch screen in cars because I don't like getting distracted and going over and touching it while I'm driving. I like to look forward, pay attention to the road, and have it all happen from the steering wheel. Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Do you guys like the electric car revolution? Do you hate it? Do you dread it? Can you not wait to get your hands on a Mission E, on a Tesla Model 3, on a Model X, whatever your aspirations are in the electric vehicle market? I'd like to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to, again, go back to doing them weekly, but, you know, life sometimes just gets in the way. Anyway, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell to get notified on new uploads, and I'll see you next time. I'm gonna get going to work. I'm actually not running late today, which is good news. Thank you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.
Welcome to Top of the Rock.